Okay, welcome back into the studio. Soil Nation, thanks for joining us. This is our fourth week. We're really excited about that. Thanks for everybody who's been tuning in for the past 3 weeks. And we've been getting just a tremendous amount of messages and comments.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Views and downloads and all these cool things that, we're not quite sure what that means yet.
Soil Nation is growing.
Yeah, so that's awesome. I mean, we appreciate all the support that we've been getting. If there's specific things that you'd like to talk to us about, reach out to us on Twitter, find us on Facebook. Topsoil Podcast has its own Twitter account, Topsoil Podcast on Facebook. Or you can reach out to Mitch at Continuum Ag LLC on Twitter, or find him on Facebook. You can find me at Seed Junkie or at Stout Seed on Twitter and also on Facebook. So, keep sending us messages, keep sending us feedback. We appreciate it. We have a great week planned this week. The buzz right now is surrounding China with the tariffs and the trade controversy that's going on there. I know that there's people who were staunch Trump supporters a week ago that are now
what are you doing?
Questioning, their political stance. So, I mean, it's always interesting when we see these times of uncertainty. But we have a specialist coming in tomorrow, John Greiner from Cat's Grain here in Washington. Tremendous knowledge about markets. Awesome. I mean, if you're looking for a young guy to start building a marketing relationship with, John is probably one of the best around. I can't think of anybody better.
No.
Really. www.catsgrain.com. That's Catsgrain with a K. Yep, K-A-T-S. What a great website. I mean, I use it for weather. You use it for weather.
The only place I got.
He's got markets. He does a commentary.
Yep.
So, go check that out. But he's going to be in studio with us tomorrow. We'll have a 2-part series highlighting him, and he's going to be talking all about the Chinese tariffs.
Yep.
And so
trade, marketing, good stuff.
Yeah, so we're super excited about it.
And that
it's going to be a great episode.
That leads into today's kind of topic, then with what is kind of going on in China, kind of leading into setting up the week here for us about trade. And we've talked a lot about, direct marketing tying into that. So Trent, we'll definitely want to see what your thoughts are on that. But I guess the premise of the Chinese stuff, okay, kind of what all is going on. I'm definitely not an expert by any means, but my understanding of it is that it's a lot of threats right now to not everything is totally set in stone. Stuff is going to change a lot, so don't get too caught up in what's going on. But essentially, Trump is going for, how does the U.S. get into better trade deals? We're right now with China, the U.S. has been working on like a $325 billion deficit in trade, so not good. So obviously we're importing a lot more than what we're exporting to China. So trying to get that figured out, trying to figure out how do we make that balance out.
Sure.
Is what they're going for. So Trump essentially said, okay, there's 1,300 of your goods that we're going to put a 25% tariff on and around the $50 billion market range. So a lot of stuff, 1,300 different things that they tariffed at 25%. So China goes, all right, you're going to put 25% on our stuff. We're going to put 25% on your stuff. Soybeans was included in that 25% tariff category. It's one of the things that's going to be tariffed. So, and Iowa, of course, we're down in southeast Iowa. We're exporting a lot of our soybeans are going to China. China's our number one buyer of U.S. soybeans, and it's been a long-lasting relationship. So what I'm seeing is, it's causing some volatility now. The market's changing a lot, but China doesn't really buy a lot of U.S. soybeans until September, October, November, December kind of time frame in there.
Sure.
So my understanding of it is it's a lot of talk right now when China's not really buying a whole lot of soybeans anyway. And then by the time they're ready to buy soybeans, this is hopefully going to be sorted out. So I know was seeing some quotes from like Sonny Perdue that, the USDA is working on this. He's out in the Midwest talking with farmers and stuff, and And so Sonny Perdue and Trump are saying, okay, we're going to get this sorted out with the farmer's best interest in mind. I do think that's what he's going for. Hopefully it'll work itself out, but it just causes a lot of volatility, I think, that we need to be mindful of. So if you're playing that game, if you're playing into the market of, okay, I'm going to sell today at the cash value, or I'm going to try to market for a price in the future that's better, and I've got the ability to store that grain for a future date, I can store it and try to get a premium on it. Or not a premium, but try to get a better price because I'm holding on to it till the market is better. If you're feeding into that market, which most American farmers are, then you've got to be mindful of these things. So what we've been talking a lot about is, okay, how do you market into a market or sell into a market that doesn't depend on somebody else, that doesn't depend on people's emotion getting at them or countries playing the game. It's all in it. I mean, they're playing the game that they have to do because they're countries and they're huge superpowers in the world, and they've got to be able to make sure that they're making money and keeping their best interest in mind, which is good. And I think that's what Trump's going for. And we want America's best interest in mind, but we've got to be able to play nice where we got to play nice. We got to play hardball where we got to play hardball, and that's what China's doing. They're saying, okay, you guys can play hardball, we're gonna play hardball too. So, so we'll see how things play out there. And John coming in tomorrow is way better at filling us in on that. And there's a lot of articles and stuff you can read online about it. And since it's a developing thing, I don't think we need to dwell on it too much. But what about, I guess, Trent, your thoughts on, okay, feeding into that market, playing in where we are currently for most part as farmers versus the direct kind of market and developing our own market so we don't have to depend on volatility?
Well, so there's a lot wrapped up in that question right there, so I'll try and kind of pull that apart piece by piece here. But this marketing advice is strictly for entertainment purposes.
We're not
Don't
experts.
bet the farm on
We're
this.
not
but
experts.
I would say that this climate has created some opportunities.
For sure.
If I was a speculator and I was looking at this market, I think, corn looks pretty positive as a long position. If you're looking at December corn, I think there's some money to be made there. If you were buying a contract around 404, 403 and a half, you could get probably on the positive side for some December corn, or July corn even looks pretty good. So I like where the markets are going. So soybeans, we're going to have a visitor here in a second, but soybeans, I think when you look at soybeans as a whole, your soybeans are going to be probably a little tough. I mean, I think that there's people who are looking at that market saying that like a short position there, but I think that if we look at what the markets are going to do, a lot of times corn pulls soybeans long, so I'm not real sure about where that is headed. I'm going to be cautious about a stance there, a long-term stance in short in soybeans, but my brain gets a little sidetracked here. But okay, so the second part of that question is, when the world has become such a large economy, when we look at this thing, this is. It's a situation where, hey Bob, how are we doing? What do you know today? You want to join us for an interview? Can we get Bob Davis on?
You don't think much for me.
But I think that when we rely on these markets, that it can be difficult because
it's out of our hands, and it's so huge that little individual pieces of it don't fluctuate the big picture.
Right.
If we have if Washington County has a bad year, we're still playing into the whole world market that 90% of the world's still going to have a good year.
Yeah, but I think if this creates opportunities for direct marketing. I think as we see the pressure of these prices coming down, corn's not at a historic high by any means. Soybeans are not far behind. I think I think that you can see people start looking to try to find value-added enterprises, things we've been talking about for 2-3 weeks. You know,
Yeah.
I think that there's already a movement to try and meet that urban demand that I think this could help, you know, push guys along if we start seeing some negative, you know, pressure on some of these prices. So there's a lot of things going on. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen with China. I don't even know 3 days from now what that'll look like.
Yeah.
It's just so uncertain. But I think that there's some opportunities if you're willing to capture it, either from the market side with the corn that I talked about, and John will be able to elaborate more on that tomorrow. You know, I feel pretty confident there. Or just from a direct marketing side that you're going to say, you know what, I'm done relying on the commodities market, and I'm going to go towards premiums.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and just to lock it in on utilizing an actual relationship with the consumer
Right.
versus a governing body trying to facilitate that relationship.
Sure.
And hopefully they get it worked out, because basically now it's, instead of us developing that relationship, it's Terry Branstad is
Right.
over in China, you know, helping to facilitate that relationship. But there's maybe more that we can do on our own. So.
Yeah. So, anyways,
but good
just
stuff to
wrap
talk
I think,
talk
John,
on here this
John will
week
be
more.
pretty good tomorrow. If you're interested in this China situation, you know, John will be here to explain that.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be huge.
And he's going to answer a lot of questions. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. Appreciate you listening. If you have specific questions, give us some comments on Facebook.
Right.
Send us some feedback on Twitter. As always, you know, we appreciate your support. Anything.
Yeah, we'll get those tied
that we
in.
can do to try and help you. If you're interested in being one of our farmer profiles too, please don't hesitate
sure.
to reach out. So,
Yeah.
that's where we're at today, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Sounds good.